Hey, Jack from Alphacharts with the state of the market video for Saturday, August 2nd, 2025. Before we get started, this video is for informational purposes only. These are not recommendations to buy, sell, or hold any stock or security. I may hold positions in some of the equities mentioned. Know your time frame and risk tolerance. All right, thank you all for watching the video. If you haven't done so, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you're on X, please go ahead and tweet and retweet and follow me on X. I'm at Alphacharts 365 right there. I also run an educational subscriber group, mostly for swing traders, but I do also some longer term trades. What do you get in this group for $10 a month? In-depth market report, watch lists. Um, yeah, that's on Saturday. It's about an hour long. Focus list video. That's very short to the point. Names I like for the week. I do midweek videos on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Market notes on Sundays and Thursdays. Um, Annotated charts and anything I'm looking at for myself, I share with that group. Daily market scans, posts just for subscribers. I mean, you get a huge amount of content here for only $10 a month. It's really kind of like how I'm looking at the market. And if you're new to trading, or even if you're a seasoned trader, but you're working full time, you have a family, this is a great way to get another perspective and also a bunch of research for a very low cost. Um, don't tell you to buy or sell. That's your choice. Just kind of what I'm doing. So if you think this can help you, again, go to Alphacharts 365, click on that subscribe button, and you are in. And again, it's month to month. There's no contract, so that's kind of nice as well. You like it, it's for you, you stay. It's not for you, you go. That's easy enough. But we've had really good feedback and success with this group, and hopefully it can help you as well. If you're a YouTube only watcher, again, I have the same video content and annotated charts on up for YouTube members as well. You just go to that membership, click subscribe, and you're in. You can see midweek videos right there, focus list videos, weekend videos. Again, you see how it comes out on a regular basis. You know, over and over. That's the end of it. Yeah, of this playlist. But anyway, you see annotated charts are just like this, right? That's what things look like for members, right, in their thing. As so we share annotated charts and we share videos as well. So there you go. Let's get into these charts now. All right, let's start with the SPY. So this has been a very interesting week. Um, So, full disclosure, I started getting cautious on Monday and Tuesday of this week, and it was for a few different reasons. We had elevated risk in earnings this week. A lot of big names. We had FOMC this week, and we were extended in the market cycle. And at the end, I'm going to go over market cycle and what I look at with subscribers. I usually don't do it on this video, but I'm going to do it on this video just today, just 'cause I think it'll be helpful to everybody as well. So stay to the end because I will hit that. But anyway, but yeah, so we were getting cautious right in here. It worked, right? It was a good thing we did because you had this kind of big top to bottom move on the week. Down 3%, top to bottom is a little bit over three, and you're looking at a 2.5, 2.4 weekly move, right? Net. But when we really look at this, we had a big base, we had the breakout, we got extended, cycle count wise at least, and it was trending nice though. But it went on for a while, and now we're gonna reset, probably potentially back to the 50-day moving average. Well, that's at 611. So from where we closed, and again, these are rough estimates, to roughly that area, you're looking at about 1.5% more. I think that's the area to really consider that I would expect to be support. Why? Because that was resistance here. It went through it right over here, no problem. But this prior resistance, I would expect to be support. Plus, you have the 50-day moving average there. So I do expect 611, 612, somewhere in that area to act as support on the SPY. If it crashes through there, goes through there very easily, that would tell me that we have a much worse market than what I'm expecting. You see how volume is ramping up as well. One more big volume day would be really nice. Capitulation right into that area. Um, that'd be perfect. Again, it doesn't mean it's going to happen Monday. It may happen on Tuesday. Maybe we get a couple days of crappy buying, right? Low volume buying in here, and then we kind of go down. That's possibly too, right? So next week, expect volatility. RSP, it was already at the 50-day, but look how buyers did show up even in RSP. So you see they're already starting to come back a little bit, which is nice to see. Down 3.3% on the week. But again, there were some buyers on Friday. I like that. Maybe the RSP comes down and tags, 178 where the 200-day is. That's a possibility, and that's fine, right? That's all within the context of a bigger uptrend. And this is just making its big base. Maybe this is, some sort of inverse head and shoulders and stuff. Speaking of which, okay, let's switch here right off. Look at the Dow Jones Industrial DIA. There it is. I mean, so this is, I don't go to the Dow Jones very often, but look at this. I do watch it and you have this base, it's gonna, let's say price comes down, let's say it hits 430-ish or so, hit the 200-day, comes back around, and you have a major base for, again, we don't know if it's gonna happen, towards the middle of the end of the year or, November, who knows. But if this can bust out of this giant base over the last, we'll call it year, that would be very, very bullish, I think. Um, but let's keep going. Qs, same idea. I think 540, 545, that's always been our area where we would expect support to happen. Um, we'll see if that does. On the week, it was down 2.2%. And again, I think there's a little bit more to go in here, about another 2% roughly. Below the 23-day, that's my orange line. And you see, I was expecting a pullback and then expect support. So I think this is within the context of an uptrend. That's my opinion. Context of an uptrend, and that we may have amazing buying opportunities very soon within the next week or so. Equal weighted Qs are kind of retesting its breakout right here. It kind of held the right spot. That's nice to see. We'll see what happens next week. Uh, this one, it is what it is, right? I'd love to see this area hold, but it may not. We'll take it one day at a time. We're getting mid caps back at the 50-day and right at the potential support area. Again, we'll continue to watch this area, see if it holds. It could. And listen, just like in the SPY, we don't have to come back in here. That's just a potential, right? Maybe we bounce right where we're at. But I think that there may be some more downside, available to it. And IWM being always the weakest link of them all, below 50 and the 200-day. 50 hasn't even crossed the 200-day yet. I don't think there's any reason to be involved in IWM. On the week, it was down 4.2%, maybe on the downside, right? Um, but you see how buyers did kind of show up again, right? I like these that buyers are showing up. They're not abandoning this rally, I don't think. I think this is just a reset. Looking at XLF, again, something I don't like to see. I'd like to see it hold here and didn't. Now below the 50-day, and actually the regional banks got me a little more nervous because they failed first. You look at KRE, KRE failed first, right? And this was a beautiful kind of base that I was trying to make, and it failed. Negative expectation breaker. Well, that said, okay, well, things may not be right. There's XLF below the 50-day. SMH, I mean, broke out, came back, right? So it's below these moving averages, but still above the 50. And you see how buyers actually try to push this up some on higher volume. That looks, again, this is constructive, I think, within the context of this little pullback. Same thing for XSD. They're not abandoning semiconductors. And, the week, so let's just look here, down 1.29. SMH was down 1.23. And XLF was down 3.79. But to me, they're not abandoning the semiconductors when you see movements, where everything's getting crushed and they went down, but didn't really get crushed, right? didn't get crushed. Transports, they started failing earlier in the week and now back below all the 50 and 200 day. XTN below the 50 and the 200 day as well. Coming back in again. But look at what it just went. It just went. This is equal weighted transports went up 42%. Okay, so now it gave back eight of that, right? This is normal price action in uptrends, right? You're going to get pullbacks. You're going to get pullbacks. Beautiful uptrend. There's a pullback. Then it kind of chopped around a while and kept going. So it happens. Let's do the week. I like weeklies on these too. Down 8% on the transports and down 6.5%. Housing was down 2.5%. They were actually green on Friday. That was interesting. And we still have a series of higher highs and higher lows showing up in housing. That's interesting. Let's go to ITP. I like ITP. Oh, what did I do there? There we go. Let's try to do this right. There we go. There's ITB, still underneath the declining 200-day, which was resistance right there, but hasn't failed. Again, has that higher highs and higher lows going on, and we'll see what happens here, right? XHB, same thing, same exact look for the most part, and they were down, let's see, 2.5 and 0.33 in ITB, right? So not nearly as bad as the rest stuff. That's, I think, a big positive. Let's skip to the mags. They were down 1.7 on the week, and you can see that kind of false breakout. We'll go to the daily to look at it better. And there it is right there. So this was Meta and Microsoft earnings, and you see how it melted. That was a bad sign to begin with. And then price came right back in. I still think 55 is a great spot to hold potentially. If it does and could turn and hold there and turn back up, maybe it makes kind of a right shoulder here, right? If you look at a closing basis, let me change this to a line chart. It never broke out on a closing basis, so I'm not too worried about this as a false breakout at this point yet. Again, if it slices through 55, that could be a different story. But as of right now, I'm not overly concerned. I think it just, listen, it went too far too fast from the bottom to the top. It's 53% in a few months. That's a giant move. And so now just need a little break. And Bitcoin, this one I stopped out of. I made a little bit of money, not much, because I was expecting this to go higher, right? And it just didn't. And so now I'm out. Maybe it's just a retest as well, but I want to see this set up again, being the riskiest of risk appetite. So yeah, that's what we have as far as the indexes. Hold on one second, don't go anywhere because I'm gonna go into some internals real fast. But I think on the index level, I think there's maybe a little bit more downside to come another day or two. It may not be Monday, right? Maybe we get a little choppiness and then, like a 1 or 2 day like bear flag type of look to it. Like on the Qs you'll see better. Maybe like 1 or 2 day little bear flag, and then you have an A, B, C type of move. That would be, I think, the likely scenario. And so, it's going to be a choppy week. Let's go here. And if you haven't done so, go to Alphacharts 365, click that subscribe button, because you're going to get all this and so much more. Here's one of my internals pages that I like to look at. And you can see here that new highs, net new highs, new lows is turning negative, right? That's also, obviously a bearish sign. And we were talking about that quite a bit, how it was starting to, we weren't seeing increasing, they were starting to decrease. You also see breath kind of washing out here. Um, so that there's that. And it's not quite washed out yet. We could go down a little bit more. You see, as it came down here, we got, well into this, sub 30-ish, 35 area. And I think, this is another couple days of that. We definitely could do that. And of course, we have the cycle count here. We were on 68, 69 days, something like that. Well extended. And so this now resets the cycle within the context of a larger larger bullish movement. And we have a cycle reset. We have, hopefully a retest of the breakout area. If it holds I think that we're in for a very, very, very bullish time. Again, that it will take a little bit of time for it to come down here to hold. Maybe it chops a little bit, and then we can go. So patience here. That's what the name is. Patience here. Hopefully, y'all did get a little bit more cautious if you're a subscriber. Hopefully we talked about this quite extensively, and I did personally. But now I'm gonna look for opportunity. As people are fear, if we get another big down day, I'm gonna look for opportunities here, not be afraid that the whole market's gonna crash. Just the way I see it. All right. Thank you all for being for watching, and if you haven't done so, give me a subscribe, whether it's on Twitter or on YouTube. I do appreciate it. I think this content can help you, and y'all have a great day. Bye bye.